Welcome back to another week of Coach Talk. So this week we're doing a quick video just to address the outcome of the survey that we sent a couple of weeks ago. So first of all, thanks to everybody who did the survey. We had just over 90% completion, which is the highest we've ever had. So I think it definitely allows us to get a really good insight as to what the majority of people feel about the service that we're offering. I know we're good, but I also know there's areas that we could be a lot better. And these surveys is the easiest way and the most honest way for us to get that feedback. So real quick, we're just going to go through what we found and the changes we're going to be making, so you guys get a good feel as to what's going to be happening, and that there's transparency there as well, that we will be making the changes. So for question one, the main two things we had coming back was that it was the community and the coaching is what you loved about Fitbox, which is deadly. Okay, so that now allows us to focus a little bit more, which we've definitely making an effort, but we're going to make a bigger effort and certainly a more consistent effort to improve the social side of things. I mean, even Monday's madness was a great sign of that. We're hopefully going to be doing a little bit more of that now as we come into the winter. And again, our social events and stuff, I know the paddleboard kind of didn't go to plan, and we're kind of waiting on the weather with certain things like that. We have another thing happening on August 19th as well, which is a little bit weather dependent, but we'll plan a little bit better going forward so that it's not always weather dependent, and that will definitely allow for you guys to get a little bit more involved outside of just a typical class. And then in terms of things like we saw on Monday, that kind of big open class, we're thinking maybe once every 6 weeks, if we do something like that on a Saturday morning, I think it'd be a really good addition to things. And then with the coaching, so yes, it is obviously the core part of the product. We do know we need to work on certain areas of our coaching. Certainly we're giving a little bit more feedback on a one-to-one, which we'll talk about in a minute or two, but they're the areas that at least came back as the top two areas as why people love Fitbox. So thanks for that. The second one then is, if you could change one thing. The big issue that came back from this was the booking system. So people either booking in and not showing, or showing up and not booked in. Now, this is I'm going to need help from the community with this one, from you guys from this one. So we, as best we can, try to manage people booking in. We're told at the start of joining, look, we've 12 people, we want to make sure you're booked in. If you're not able to come, just please book out so that the wait list people can get brought in. Now, this really, to be honest, only seems to be an issue in the morning classes. So please, can we make it to monitor this a little bit better? So if you're not able to make a class, please don't wait till 11:30, 12:30 the night before. Please allow other people to get a little bit of time to get booked in. So if you know you're not going to make it, that's totally cool, but maybe by 8 o'clock that night, unbook so those in the waiting list can get in. And then vice versa, if you're not booked in and you show up, we're obviously not going to tell you to go home, but just acknowledge that is a problem too, and it does create a problem with the programming, because we program for 12 people in a class. We think about equipment, time frame, etc. Okay, so I think that's probably just going to be a two-way thing. And the cleanliness of Fitbox, we got 4.5. I was gunning for that 5. But the big thing was the toilets. So you'll see that there's now a checklist. So we've put in a system, and that's what this folder is under the TV. This is all the systems that we use as the coaching team. So there's a system now that the coach must check and clean the toilets during their shift and at the end of the shift, which means if we do it and follow our system, well then at all times there should be no problems going forward with issues with the toilets, toilet rolls, cleanliness, etc. Okay, if there's other things that we're just not quite doing, please come and let us know. I know we could definitely be a little bit more attentive to our upstairs, chalk on the floor and that sort of stuff. So please, if there's something that we're missing, just let us know. Okay, then the next one, we saw a big problem really was the classes feeling rushed at changeover of classes. Now, we fully agree with this. This is something that we feel from the coach's side, and to be very honest, sometimes it feels like it's crowd management than actually coaching. Now, again, in this folder that you'll see under the TV, we have systems that some of you guys know, some of you guys don't know. We have our birthdays, we have our injury list, so as to who's injured, what movements are allowed to do, are they seeing a physio, how are they progressing, has there been a weekly checkup? Okay, similar equipment lists, member success stories, weekly new members, so those that have just joined, there's information with you guys down so every coach knows, but there's also a lesson plan for every class. So I spend 2 hours a week building lesson plans for every single class that's done in this gym. In that lesson plan, we have a warm-up focus, we have scaling options, we have things that point to performance for coaching, and then other little bits and bobs in there. Now, why we do that is that I want my 6:30 a.m. class and my 6:30 p.m. class to be one and the same, so that you guys are getting the same quality, same experience, and the same level of coaching in all classes. However, we do find in the evening, because people are coming down either a little bit late or not ready, those first 5 to 7 minutes when we're doing the warm-up is rushed, and it's just too hard to get this going as planned sometimes. So please, this again is a two-way thing. Be prepared as you come down. Be warmed up. That's mandatory. We go through your warm-up as part of your joining process, and that's pretty straight that you need to get that done before you come down. Have your shoes and your wraps on, and make sure you know what you're doing. If you're just finished a class, please grab your bags, bring them upstairs so that there's not people hanging around, because again, it's not a very big gym. 12, 13 people in a group does fill that space. When we have few people from the last class kind of still hanging around a little bit, chit-chatting, that's totally cool. But when we have a full class coming down, it then can become a little bit hectic for the class coming down. Okay, so maybe together we can manage that a little bit better. Just move upstairs when you finish your class, and then those coming down to class, just make sure you're ready. And then the final big thing really that we saw was that people was saying they felt like they were missing parts of programming, or they didn't feel there was enough gymnastics, etc, etc. Now, at the moment, the program has never had as much gymnastics on it. But what we have found going back through the system, we see that there's some days that people may just be missing. So what we've decided to do is, when you walk up the stairs on your left hand side now, you're going to see a diary on the wall, a weekly diary. And what we're going to start doing is just putting a brief little point of what's coming up each day in terms of strength and gymnastics, and that might allow you to plan your week better. In case you are missing what we're putting up, it might allow you to plan the week better. Okay, so that should hopefully fix that problem. Outside of that, everything else was really good. We will be making some small changes just to our coaching standards, and we definitely have to give a little bit more back in ways of one-to-one, especially with the individual guys as well. And we definitely want to make sure that we're giving you guys what we promised on day one. So thanks for your feedback. I know it's a bit of a long video today, but thanks for your feedback. Promise that this will all be fixed before the end of the month, and if we can work together to ensure these no-shows and showing up without booking begins to kind of be managed better, and at that changeover of class, just have yourself ready to either move upstairs after your class, or if you're coming down class, have your bips and bobs ready with wraps and straps and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so thanks guys, and